that is the topic, and it has been the topic for the last 2 weeks. Right? It's a very important topic, God, because pretty much everyone has a fundamental belief or acknowledgement of God. So it seems only fit that we delve deeper or dig deeper into the topic of God and who really is in tune or in touch with God, who God really is. Because based on that answer, based on that real answer, that factual answer, not an answer that's belief driven, not an answer that's opinionated, driven by opinions, but the factual answer of who God is very important, especially to our people, black people, because we are constantly in search of God, be it through religion. I don't care if it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism. Some of us went even further into the Eastern Buddhism. We are constantly in search of God, spirituality, trying to connect to God. We're constantly trying to find God within ourselves, make that connection with the true and living God. However, men stepped in and disconnected us, gave us their ideas, their limited beliefs on what God is. And this is basically what we have today. This is what we run with today. This is the things that we run off of. This is the things that we stand firm on as if we know it to be true, as if we know that our beliefs are true. However, tonight, we're going to dispel some myths. I'm going to dispel myths for you. I'm going to dispel things that you stood on in religion, factually, show where they don't make sense, and prove who the true and living God is and who's in contact with them. The topic of this show is God and the true and living God's connection to the white power structure. All right? And we're going to go into depth in this. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares, and this is State of Mentel Radio. And tonight, as I promised, this is going to be a big show. Because, like I said, I've led up to this broadcast, I should say, and talking about God and revealing God for who He is based in logic and intelligence, not in belief. Because we within the State of Mentel, of which I am the mentor to, we are a future intelligence group. Now, a future intelligence group is a group that is focused on what? The future. Future knowledge, advanced knowledge, higher knowledge. Why? Because we acknowledge that God deals with advanced knowledge and future intelligence, not with beliefs. Beliefs are limited to man's perception. It's like me telling you something and getting you to believe it based on my opinion. If I tell you what my opinion of God is and you accept it based on my limited perception, and I just box it into a small religion or whatever I want to call it, set of beliefs or principles or whatever you want to call, and I get you to accept that, I have a follower. I then give you a symbol. And it's not on me as a religious leader to prove what I am saying factually. Just get you to believe and accept it. But I'm not going to even beat around the bush about it. I'm going to say it because a lot of our people have this perception of the white power structure and some secret connection with dark forces, satanic forces, like, this group called the Illuminati. Our people have this idea that they're in tune with Satan, the devil, Beelzebub, Jabalon, whatever the names is they give, Baphomet, all of these names. Why? Because they read them in books, right? All of these books that are uncovering these secret groups within Freemasonry, who are over the Shriners and things like that, your Illuminati and the powers that be that control this society, you say that the God they worship is the devil, Satan. And many of us don't even know what that is. They don't even know what the devil is or what Satan is. It's just our people repeating things. That's all. Just repetitive talk that doesn't really amount to anything. We had an image of the devil drawn in our heads of somebody with horns and a pitchfork, red, or even a white man. We got all these different ideas of what evil is because we look to these people who control this country as being evil. Why? Because they sit on the top, and they are the haves, and we are the have-nots. Historically, that has always been the paradigm where you had the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots always look at the haves as evil. That was so in Egypt, where you had blacks who were sitting on the top ruling as pharaohs and queen pharaohs, and the upper class, the priest of Amun, and all these people were the upper body, were the haves. And you had the people who were the citizens in Egypt who had their different religions, like the Israelite school started up there and things, and they referred to the Egyptians as evil people. They said that they worshipped statues and idols and false idols and Satan and all whatever. They just said pagan gods, right? Gods of the field. That's what the word pagan means, field gods, right? Multiple gods, right? And that has been passed up into the society where we mistrust the upper echelon, the ruling body, the ruling class of people. We say they have to be demonic people. They have to rule. They have to worship Satan. They have to worship some dark secret force. How are they getting in power? How do they stay in power? How do they stay in control? Very simple. Because they are worshiping the true and living God. I'm going to say it again. They're in tune with the true and living God. You people in the churches, in the mosque, in the synagogues, and the temples are not. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm not just making statements here. I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm going to give you facts. That's all I'm going to give to you tonight. And logical facts. Not written down things, because not everything is written down. Only dummies look for things that are written down for everything. Certain people, you're required to think and use logic. Okay? You have something called natural intelligence, which is logic. And it helps you put two and two together, or one and two together. It helps you put certain things together to get a understanding so you can see the bigger picture. Because everything, like I said, is not going to be written down in the book for you. Everything doesn't come with an instructional guide, contrary to what some people might believe. The white man, the white power structure, is in tune with the true and living God. And that true and living God is not Satan, the devil, Jalbalom, Baphomet, half God, half man, half goat, or with some nonsense. That's all done for your consumption. That's all done to distract you and fool you, the religious believers, and to throw you off. You understand? To scare you, to distract you and put you in a certain line of thinking so that you don't look to what these people really do and what they're about. You hear about wild rituals or people getting stabbed and killed and sacrificed and all this and that and the third and whatnot. But you find sacrifice all in the Bible. You find sacrifice where, according to the story of Abraham, God told him to sacrifice his son. So sacrifice is nothing new. Or are they talking about sacrifices and whatnot? They had sacrifices going on in Babylon and things and places like that in Mesopotamia. So sacrifices is nothing new. People were throwing people in volcanoes and I forget the cultures. The Mayan culture, they were throwing people in volcanoes. And yeah, there's certain sacrifices going on there, but whole societies are being sacrificed. But we'll go into that a little bit later on in the broadcast. Now, why I say that the powers that be, the elite, the Illuminati, I don't care what you call these people, are not worshiping any dark forces or any devil or anything like that, is because, simply told, simply and logically put, these people are in power. These people are in power. And God reaches out to those in power. God controls society and the planet through a hierarchy. He reaches out to those people who are in charge, not to the lesser people who are praying on their knees and things of that nature and doing these rituals. No. Because if you notice, with these people, nothing really ever changes in their lives. You're not in charge of anything. These people control your lives. The elite, the rich white elite. They control your lives, these people that sit in these secret societies. And the God that they worship is Amen. The same Amen that you say Amen or Amen at the end of your prayers, the same Amen or Amun that was in ancient Egypt, which was a black man who many statues and pictures were made of him, who walked in physical form. In the society, you have edifices built in the name of Amen. You have the secrets, the U.S. seal, the Great Seal, which is a copy of ancient Egypt. You have obelisk and all these things and edifices in D.C. and Rome, Vatican City, and London, paying homage to Amen. Now, these are world powers we're talking about here. They are following the same road. They are following the same paradigm that the Egyptians did, where they paid homage to Amen, the true and living God. And they made the churches, the mosques, the temples, all of them attach Amen's name on to the end of your prayers, you people in religion, and you don't even know it. You don't even realize that. Because they wanted to show this true and living God that they are in line or in tune with his will. God reaches out to the powerful, the ones who are in control, the ones who are reaching for his higher intelligence. Does not God have power? Does not God deal with order? Isn't the universe based on order? Isn't the human creation based on order? Your body, your cells, everything God deals with is based in order. That's logic. That's fact. So, it's only logical that God would deal with people who are in power, who are keeping order. And who is in power and who is keeping order? The rich white elite, your Illuminati and these people here. These are the people that are keeping power. These are the people that are keeping control. Whether you may not like it or not, you might say, oh, they wrong for what they did, and all the abuse and all the things they did. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're in charge now. They regulate the money. They control the food. They control the pretty much everything, the education system, everything in your life, they regulate. They control the government. They are a governing body. And they are given power by God. That's why they say, in God we trust. In God they're talking about is Amen, not the devil, not Satan. That eye on the dollar bill is the eye of Amen, the watchful eye of Amen. Not no Satan, not no Jabalom, not no half goat God with man boobs and all this nonsense that they get our people to follow. We'll believe anything. They just tell our people anything just to distract you. Why? Because they don't want our people getting in tune with that power, that true and living God. Because we actually have a natural connection to the true and living God. However, because our people are in mental disarray, because we are out of order, because we are in a state of confusion following these man-made religions, I don't care if they're Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and we're following all of these gods from different religions that come from other places, and we're making up all these funny stories around them and all these, we're accepting all these beliefs without fact. Does it seem possible that the God of higher intelligence would deal with us in this day and time when we're out of order? We're out of order ourselves. So then why would a higher power that's based on order deal with us? What would a being that's dealing with future intelligence and order advanced intelligence, why would they deal with us? Because we have a natural connection because we're their people? No, not at all. We are out of tune with that power. We are out of tune with the supreme power of Amen. The white man, the power elite, are in tune. That's why they're in charge and they're running things. You might not like that because you don't like the white man. You call him the devil, but he is in charge. You Negroes want to sit up here and talk about, well, the white man, how you going to say that the white man's the devil? And I'm not dealing with all that nonsense. That's God and the devil is nonsense. He's in charge. If he was to go tomorrow, you hate the white man so much. If he was to go tomorrow, if he was to disappear off the planet, do you really think black people can take charge of this country or even this planet and run it and keep things in line? Because trust me, God didn't send people, didn't have people. The planet was meant to be taken care of by caretakers, and we were the original caretakers on the planet. We were. If you look in every society, I don't care if it's in Asia, Africa, I don't care where it is on the planet, America, our images were there. We were the original caretakers of the planet. We were the original gods of the earth. The original Asian gods were black men. The original Greek gods and Roman gods were done after black men, were copied after black men. They changed the images over. The Egyptians, the Sumerians, all the gods were black. These people represented real people who were the caretakers of the planet. Okay? The people who were in natural connection or in tune with God. However, with the advent of religion, when we started accepting beliefs and we fell out of connection mentally with God, we allowed other people to step in our place. When did this happen? This happened with the fall of Egypt and the rise of Greece. Okay? When Mark Antony, Alexander the Great started going into pyramids and picking up stuff and reading stuff, and the white Greeks started going over there and reading our documents and going inside the temples of Amun and picking up stuff and reading, they started making a connection. That was the fall. When you started mixing your seed with these people, Cleopatra and them. It happened a little earlier, but that was the beginning of the end for us and our mental connection to God, the true and living God, Amen. That was the end. We fell out of power. Prior to that, we had the world, everything. Then they came to power because they came in tune with the true and living God. And they hid it. They hid their connection through Christianity, through Islam, through Judaism. They hid their connection. But nonetheless, they still were making a connection. Okay? Up into the time of when they started forming the Masonic lodges, they kept Amen's name in rotation in these religions. And they incorporated these religions of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism into their foundational points of their doctrine of Masonry. But make no mistake about it, the chief foundational point of Freemasonry and the Shrindom is ancient Egypt, and they were not teaching Islam. They used those schools of thought, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, as a way to govern the people. That's why they use them as foundational points, not because they actually believe it. They use them to govern the people. Yes, they do have control over all the religions. That's why they mention Christianity, Islam, and Judaism and Freemasonry, because they have control over all of those religions, and they control the people through them. They are just structured orders for the people to keep control over them. That's it. Governing tools. If you understand anything about tools, you Masons out there, you understand the tools are used as instruments to govern. Control. Amen is the grand architect. That divider's rod that's shaped like an A is Amen's name. That A stands for Amen. And that G is the God. Okay? This is real. This is factual. Any true Mason or Shriner knows that the true and living God is Amen. That eye on the dollar bill is Amen's eye. That those obelisks in D.C. and Vatican in Rome and what Dr. York was trying to build in Georgia was connected to Amen, the true and living God. There is no Satan. There is no Jesus. These things, these people were all made up by the church to lead the people down the wrong path. And as usual, our people follow based on belief. We never question whether these people actually existed. We don't do any research. We don't look into anything. We just believe, and we'll stand hard and beat on our chest for these beliefs. But then when you ask people factually to prove that there was a Jesus that existed, or that there was a Moses that existed, because that person never existed neither. That was a copy story from an ancient Egyptian pharaoh called Akhenaten, who pushed the one God principle in Egypt, from the Amen to the Aten. That's a fact. None of these people existed. The church just plagiarized those stories and copied them over and changed the names. The Israelites did the same thing as they were coming to power when they were leaving out and they started traveling in deserts and whatnot and going across Egypt and whatnot after they were pushed out by the Greeks and the Romans. They were pushed out and they started traveling into Africa. Some of them went further west into Africa. Some of them traveled further out. Some of them went into Europe. Some of them became your black Arabs. Okay? Your fezzes on your heads that the Arabs and the Moors and all them wear comes from Egypt, the ancient Egyptians. Didn't come from the Muslims. The Muslims were Johnny-come-latelys that picked up the fez, that picked up a lot of the teachings of the ancient Egyptians, even the number system, which is over 3,000 years old. Okay? And they recorded some of it into the Quran. They copied a lot of stuff. Egypt was a premier library, and it was known by the Greeks. Everybody, it was a premier learning center. Everybody went to Egypt who can afford to get over there. They traveled to Egypt. Egypt in its time, 3,000 years it went in dynasties, was the America of its time. Just like everybody comes here to America, everybody went to Egypt. Because the founding fathers, the so-called founding fathers, George Washington, who were Freemasons, they set America up in the image of Egypt. I'm going to prove it to you. They worshipped Amen. Not Jesus, not God, not the devil. They worshipped Amen. You can go online right now and they tell you, and you Google George Washington praying to Amen-Ra. He prayed to Amen-Ra or Amen-Re, who was supposed to be the son of Amen. Okay? Actually prayed to Amen. He's seen in many pictures wearing his Freemasonic apron, and they have their pyramid and they have their eye, which is based on Egypt, not Islam, not Christianity, not Judaism. As I said, those were governing tools to control the people. Now, when they were building America, and they came over and took hold of the land, because Freemasonry was actually started in Europe, and these men were traveling, the Frenchmen were traveling over there under Napoleon, and they were setting up the lodges. Even a little bit before that, they saw the Egyptian. They came across ancient Egypt and the as far as the statues and the things that were left, the Sphinx and everything. They saw all of these statues, Abu Simbel and whatnot. Egypt was long destroyed before then the people left, but some of the remnants were still there, and they started to delve into these libraries and underground tombs and things like that, and they had thousands and thousands. Just imagine 3,000-year dynasty, 3,000-year history of a country or a nation. America's not even 300 years old. Can you imagine 3,000? Can you imagine the richness of those libraries and the knowledge that these people had, that the white man here in America still marvels at, and that he took a lot of their knowledge and incorporated it into today's science, mathematics, and medicine? He incorporated from Greece all the way up into America. A lot of the mathematical equations came from them. Then you had your Greeks who added on and came with their theories or theorems, which is nothing but opinions and theories on math. But the foundation of math came from these people. The foundation of science came from these people. And it came even further back from the Nubians, the Dogons, and you can even go further back, where they passed it on, just as they passed on the god Amen. And they still worship Amen in America, the rich elite. How was America copied after Egypt? What did they do? Look at the seal of America and you look at the seal that they had in ancient Egypt. It's the same thing. Only difference is America used the eagle and they used what was called the Benu bird or phoenix. They worship Amen here. Their power elite, while the peons, you people worship Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Well, not, Islam is a Johnny come lately, but that's what the peon people, they give the religion to worship for the people. But the elite worship Amen as the true and living God. What did they do? They had slavery here. Why did they have slavery here in America? Because according to stories of ancient Egypt, they had slaves, and they built their nation with slaves. Right? They built, Egyptian economy was built up, ancient Egyptian economy was built up, ancient Kemetic economy was built up by cotton. What was this economy built up by? Cotton. Right? It's a fact. They took the people who were the descendants, the black people, the blacks that built up this in those areas, and even further out, the people that left and went further west into Africa, and they had a distinct look about them, where they didn't look like the Western Africans, and they took certain people, certain black people, and they brought them here purposely. Why? Because these people were builders. They didn't take certain Africans, the Western ones. You know the difference. You can look at certain people you could tell come from the East. Though we got the woolly hair and stuff like that, and we got the broad features, but you can still tell our features are not as broad or as strong as the Africans in the West. And that has nothing to do with mixing and things like that. Though we were mixed down, but it had nothing to do with mixing. You could tell that we're not the same as the Western Africans. They took the ones who are descendants of the East, Morocco, Egypt. They took those people. And we here in America are the descendants of those people from the East, the ancient Egyptians, the Moroccans, the Nubians. Why? Because we were builders. Okay? We were builders. They're not going to take people who live in huts. They wouldn't take people who run around butt naked with spears and whatnot. They took builders, people who know how to do things, skilled people. People who were building villages and things like that. They took those kind of people. People who knew how to, who had a understanding of architecture. Why would you take people who all they want to do is throw spears and run around and screaming and whatnot? And why would you take those kind of people? Let's show the white man tells us that that's what we come from, which is a lie, which is a bold-faced lie. He was setting up this society like ancient Egypt and placing themselves in the power seat to worship the god Amen. What do they name their laws after? The laws. Aren't the laws called amendments? Amendments. Go look up the word amendments. You'll see it's A-M-E-N. That's not coincidental. The white man, he doesn't give names and titles to things for no reason, not the power elite. Everything, all symbols and signs mean something to them. They don't worship spook gods like black people. They don't sit in churches and pray because they know it's all nonsense. They do something totally different. They are in tune with something totally different. They don't believe in your gods. They know who the true and living God is, as we did at one point in time. And their goal is to stay and rule and stay in control of that and never let you know who the true and living God is. They will never let you know that the true and living God that was in Egypt, that was in Sumeria, that was in Nubia, is now here in America, London, Rome, all over the planet. And that he is the one that they worship. Aya, looking for the sun. If people say that they believe in God, that is a sign that they have accepted the lie. I'm going to say it again. If people say they believe in God, that is a sign that they have accepted the lie. What do I mean by that? Look at the word belief. In it, you will find the word lie. That was not a coincidence. Certain incidents that coincide mean that a pattern is being set. Pay attention, okay? Because you can fool the world through beliefs, but you cannot fool one person who actually thinks and knows, who looks and thinks beyond belief. That's what we're raising in the state of Mentel. Thinkers, not believers. This new state, this new movement is for the thinkers. Because I said previously that our people have not been thinking for over 6,000 years on their own. They haven't. Our people have not been thinking completely on their own without the assistance of white people or somebody else. And what I mean by that is, as soon as one of us makes an assertion or a statement, we run immediately to the white man for validation, as if he knows everything. Now, you can use him for a reference point because he studies. However, you cannot use him when it comes to pure logic because he does things that are not based on logic. So rarely does he understand pure logic himself. Many of our people don't understand logic. They don't understand what logic is. Logic is the ability, or logic is the just straight factual knowledge without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. Factual. Things that make sense. Things that you don't need to read out of a book. Right? Things that you don't need to be given instructions on. Things that you can just basically hear and know that it makes sense. Let me give you an example. It is logical for a man and a woman to be together, right? Even if you never saw the sex act before in your life, it is logical based on their biological organs. It is logical for them to be together. It is illogical, not logical, for two men to be together or two women, because your organs don't match. They're biologically incorrect. They're not compatible. Okay? But in this society, they tell you that's logical. So already that tells you that this society is not run on logic. Okay? That's why they try to indoctrinate belief into you, to get you to accept their pseudo intelligence, or accept their ideas or theories on something. They indoctrinate you with belief because they don't want you to use logic. They don't want you to think. They want you to believe in God. They don't want you to think about God. They don't want anybody giving God intelligence or bringing intelligence to God. That's their job. Okay? That's what they feel like. That's their job to do. Their job is to form think tanks. And you've heard of that phrase before, think tanks. What are they thinking about? You don't think they're thinking about God and higher intelligence and advanced intelligence while our people are still stuck in the Bible and the Quran, trying to find some deeper meaning in a bunch of old books? These people are moving into the future and controlling the world, and you're still trying to figure out and wait on something to happen? Are you serious? In slavery, when our people were freed, that was symbolic of something. Okay? Think about it. What was the amendment that was used to free our people? The 13th Amendment. Amen meant. Okay? What does the number 13 represent? It represents a new day or a new beginning. The number 13 in the Jewish law and the Jewish ceremonies is the time when a boy becomes a man in the bar mitzvah ceremony, and a girl in a bat mitzvah, she's a woman. Okay? It represents something new. In this society, like I said, the number 13 is considered a bad luck number. Why? Because number 13 represents a beginning of something new, which means the end of something old, which was established that people put work in on. That means the coming in of something totally different, something new. So our freedom, or so-called freedom from physical bondage, was the end of something old and the coming in of something new in our existence in this society. So we were freed under the 13th Amendment by a man named Abraham. Abraham. The word ham means black. Right? Abraham. Now, a lot of people will say that Abraham Lincoln wasn't a Jew. He wasn't Jewish. Yeah. But it's just it's not coincidence that he wore a beard and he wore black a lot and and things like that. He of course he didn't have any leanings toward the Judaic teaching, but he freed the slaves. This was all coinciding with something. This was all symbolic of something. A freeing of the slaves, a letting go of the slaves, like they according to the story in ancient Egypt. Okay. All of this is symbolic of things, of a new people under Amen. Because in all actuality, our people were supposed to come here and set up the new Egypt or the new society here in America. However, we lost our connection. Therefore, the white man came here and did it. He was given charge and put in charge to set up a society and build. Because it happened. This didn't happen by accident. This didn't happen by mistake. This didn't happen because no devil made it happen. This happened because God wanted it to happen. You understand? That's why this is happening. God, the true and living God, wanted this to happen. And what were we supposed to learn from this? That we fell out of contact and that we were supposed to continue to build. We were supposed to be in communication with the true and living God, but we are not. We are not. We're not going to sugarcoat it in the show. We are not in tune with God. Because people who are in tune with God are building like God. They are in control like God. They are controlling societies like God. They are passing laws, keeping laws, governing society like God governs the planet. That's what people in tune with God do. That's what people who are in connection with God do. And they receive higher intelligence from God based on that stature or that position in the world. Yes, I'm going to say it again for you people who joined on late. The white man, the white power structure, the Illuminati, I don't care what you call them, this government is in tune with God. They are. They are in tune with the true and living God. Not you people in religion. You are in tune with nothing. You're praying to nothing. Nothing is happening for you. Now, I know that's a hard pill for you to swallow. Some of you going, I don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. See, a lot of our people have a problem with the truth. They don't like how you say things. Why you got to say that, brother? We've been praying. We've been doing this. So what? So what? It's the truth. That's why I'm saying. I'm not saying it because I'm not trying to hurt your feelings or because I care about your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I'm telling the truth. The truth is not going to make you always feel good. But the truth is the truth. That's what I'm here to do. I'm telling the truth to my people. I'm not going to sit up here and hold your hand. You black men need to man up. You understand? You black men need to man up and stop this nonsense about, we gods, and you're not God. You're in control of nothing. You're not even educating your own children. You don't even control the education your children get. What kind of gods are you? I'm not going to be soft on you black men because I'm not soft on myself. The black woman ain't going to be soft on you, and she shouldn't have to be. Nobody's going to hold your hand. That's what this society done did to our people. They done made the black man into a wimp. They done produced a male instead of a man. God produces men, makes men by way of responsibility, by way of control. How do you take control of a society? First, start by taking control of your family and your people as a nation. Come bringing your people together. That's how you start. Take responsibility for home. Start there. You can't even be the gods of your own home. You can't even be the gods of what your children are learning. Somebody else dictates what your children are learning. These people are in full control of your life. That's a reality. I don't care who don't like it. You're not in charge of anything. Your prayers are going nowhere. Okay? Obviously, someone is listening to them because they're in charge. God was in connection with us, natural connection with us. And we can form that connection again. However, What does it take? Sacrifice. Is the black man willing to sacrifice? Is the black woman ready to sacrifice? Do they really want to be connected to God? Because that means responsibility. It's not, oh, I'm gonna pray and I'm gonna pray on it, and that's a bunch of BS. That's nonsense. Nobody cares about your prayers. Your condition hasn't changed at all. Your condition hasn't changed at all. The only ones who are trying to change it, like Marcus Garvey, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, trying to build something, trying to build a nation, but certain people always filtered in certain Negroes that came into good organizations like that and tore them down, and were working as agents for these people to tear down the things that they were doing. However, it left a lasting impression in the minds of our people who are coming in the future, such as myself. So we continue on to raise the mental connection in our people to God. But we had to realize that our problem is not monetary, because we could always get money. Negroes got money. We just throw it away on garbage. You got money. Because you tell a black man all day, he'll find money to buy a Mercedes-Benz. He'll find money to buy a big screen TV. Will you donate money for a school for your children? Oh, shoot, the education free. That's the black man. He ain't trying to pay no money to send his children to school or build a school for their children. They're not trying to do that. So, in understanding that you gave over your power to these people who are in tune with God, it works like this. You answer to them, and they answer to God. They are a buffer between you and God. That's a reality. Now, I know you're probably going, oh, that's a bunch of nonsense. What this guy intellectual talking about? They buffers between us and God. I know my prayers is going somewhere. Where your prayers going? Where are your prayers going? Where are your prayers going? How is your life actually changing? You want to convince yourself that your life is changing and things are different because you pray every day and you take care of your family and all that. Yeah, you're not in charge of anything. You black men can't even make movies in Hollywood. You can't. You so used to begging. You understand? They got you thinking that they done gave you this idea of a welfare God where you black men get on your knees and you black women pray and do all this begging. So you've been conditioned to beg. You've been conditioned to beg. You think these people who are in power, you think they get on their knees and pray? They don't pray to anything. They just do it. They connect and they do it. You black people, y'all ain't ready for that. You still want to beg because you're so used to having a welfare God. Oh, God, please, if I pray 5 times a day, if I pray 7 times a day, I pray for peace, I pray for this, I pray for this. You ain't producing nothing in your life. All of this words. Words. All you basically want in society is money. Hell, the white man will give you money, and you Negroes are happy, and you think that's from God. The white man will give you money because he knows that's all you want. He knows that you're motivated by that. He's not motivated by that. The powers to be the elite. I'm not talking about you peon white people. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the rich elite, the power. They're in tune with God, not the peon whites. They just like you Negroes. They not in tune with anything. You people in Christianity and Islam and Judaism, y'all not in tune with nothing. Now, the power elite are in tune with God. And they make sure that connection stays tight. They make sure it stays steady. It's a real stream of mental connection. They're receiving intelligence on earth. They are the reason why all the technology is coming through them, because they have a connection with God. In ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh and the priest of Amun would go into this temple, and they said they would talk to Amun. They would talk to God. Now, when they come out, they knew exactly what to do, war-wise, how to govern, do this, that, and the third. But they had their own personal connection with God. And they controlled their society and most of the world. Why? Because God saw them as fit to have order over the planet. Orderly people, disciplined people. Okay? Discipline, orderly. What right thinking God would put power in the hands of the black man today? What right thinking God? You producing young men who can't even pull their damn pants up. That's what you producing. While you sitting around talking about God, you're not even God over your community enough to make these black men pull their pants up, straighten them out. You can't even do that. You're not standing up. These young boys, they looking for men to lead them. They looking for men. They looking for elders, father figures. Even all these brothers in their 30s and 40s and whatnot, 50s. They looking for these young kids in their teens and whatnot. They looking for direction. But you know what's happening? Instead of you being the God to them, the beast, they step in and they become their gods. That's why you young men are homosexuals now. And your girls are lesbians. They all out of order. All right? Because you not controlling the order. But yes, you talk about you God. You stand around somewhere, you don't even want to pay child support. You don't even want to take care of your children. Role models, yes. You don't even want to take care of your children. You don't want to do nothing for your future. So how the hell would some God put power in your hands? You black men who calling yourself Moors, you only join that thing, and you talking about you Muslim, you only join that thing to get out of paying child support because you trying to beat a charge from going to jail. You still looking for handouts too because you believe the white man, the power elite, are actually going to give you some property and some land. Are you serious? Are you serious? That's still that handout mentality. God don't work that way. Maybe your Allah do. Maybe your Jesus do. Jehovah, Yahshua, whatever you think you waiting on. Maybe they work like maybe the white man created these gods. He created these gods and made you think that's what they work. That's what they work on. They give you handouts, but that's not the God that he follows. He follows a totally different God. Now you can sit up here all day and call it Satan all you want to. Satan this, Satan that. You don't even know what Satan is. You just saying it. You repeating that. It's just a word. You don't even know what that means. The adversary of God. That's what some of the ignorant people will say. Oh, that's Satan is the adversary of God. You don't know how simple-minded you sound? Don't you understand that that's just talk and words and whatnot, just tweaking your minds, getting you to believe nonsense, getting you to believe that there's actually some war going on? You know what? The war, you know what? There is a war actually going on for the control of your mind. Who's going to control that mental intelligence, that higher intelligence of God? That's the war that's going on. But you black men are lost. You lost. You ain't even got a clue. You on your knees broken, begging. You broken. And you need strong words to strengthen you up. You don't need soft words. You don't need nobody trying to sugarcoat things and hold your hand and like you black men want nowadays. Oh, well, brother, why you got to say it like that? Or why you got to, how you going to say it ain't no God? Because it is not. We're not talking to children here. We're talking to grown men, grown women. When are you gonna grow up mentally? See, because there'll be no connection with God, the true and living God, until you people grow up mentally and stop with this fairy tale nonsense about God is over here and the devil is over here and there's a war going on and they fighting against each other, but actually they working with it. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop with this madness. Okay? You got people controlling this society, controlling the technology on this planet, controlling your lives. And you still sitting up here talking about some stupid stories, some old played out stories and some old books? Are you serious? Excuse me for getting a little emotional about it, but it kills me because my people supposed to be sitting in the seat of control like you once were. This is not the Christian, Muslim, or Jewish hour. This is not the religious hour. This is the factual hour about what's really going on. You people who are faint at heart, this ain't for you. I used to watch these old speeches of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I heard that, I take things in where sister was telling me about. You have to be careful with your words and the things you say. A good sister told me this. Muslim sister said you have to be careful with the language and the things you say. And I said, respectfully, I'm trying to be respectful as much as possible. I would never, that's not even in our vocabulary. We don't use foul language or we don't use vulgar language. But I used to watch clips of the messenger speaking, and he was on fire when he talked about how Christianity was wrong for our people, and it's the white man's religion, it's a slave religion, and he wasn't playing. It's fire, tearing down that in our minds and building up something else, Islam. All right, just replacing one for another, but it was better. It was better for that time. He was replacing one with the other. But the reason why I bring that up is because sometimes when you're trying to build something up in the minds of the people, you have to destroy the illusions that are there. You have to give them reality in order to give them something greater. A lot of our people don't want reality. They still want to hold on. They still want a pillow. They don't want the hard reality. When the white man came over here to America and he took America from the Indians, he put work in. Let's be for real. He put blood down. He sacrificed. He put blood down. You understand? He sacrificed. He put that gun in. He put that work in. You got to respect that. And I'm like I said, you call him the devil all you want to, but he put that work in to get this land. He enslaved our people. He put that work in. I respect that. And on a level, I respect that. He put that work in. He made you Negroes put work in to keep this thing going. And you know what? You know what? That's real. That's real. You honestly think that these people are going to hand something over to you after they put that work in? After they fall off, they put that work in? What work are you putting in? Except asking for handouts, talking about what somebody owes you. This is real. This is real. The black man got to man up. Stop being so sensitive. You are not in control of anything. See, you got to give people the truth. You have to give them the hard truth, how it is, and as a wake-up call, a reality check, a smack in the face, in order for them to wake the hell up and get them out of fairy tale land. I saw two black grown men, Muslims, Sunni Muslims. They was Orthodox Muslims. Two black men talking about some story. I'll never forget this. Me and a young brother, one of the brothers in the state, we was, sitting down and they talking about some story in the Quran, and and it sounded very childlike, talking about pillows and clouds, some nonsense, but it sounded very childlike. And you wouldn't expect this talk from two grown men. But I said, that's what religion does. It creates a childlike mentality, while the masters of this world, whether they're in Freemasonry and all these other places, they're ruling the planet. They're controlling your lives while you act like children, while you create gods that foster your childlike mentality. That is so, so disgusting. It's not even funny. It's sad that people who were once great, who explored and ruled the world, are now sitting somewhere in little boxes marked Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever little box you marked in, waiting on something to fall out of the sky, or sitting around praying and waiting for things to happen, in the vacuum of people who are controlling the planet. You sit in the vacuum of people who control the planet, control what you are doing, your monetary system, your children, your schooling, everything. Somebody controls that. You're working within their paradigm. When are you going to be in charge of your own paradigm? I'm not talking about within their paradigm, in charge of your own paradigm, your own government situation. When is that going to happen? This is what you should be looking to. But hell, you black men can't even, and especially in Hollywood, you black men can't even form a motion picture company to make and distribute your own pictures. You sitting around getting mad because the white man made a movie that wasn't correct about the Tuskegee Airmen. Well, there's a simple answer: that make your own damn movies. He don't have to make no movies for you. He don't owe you nothing. He don't owe you nothing. Stand up and be a man. Don't you understand? Let me tell you something. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Don't you understand that the white man loves when you call him the devil? Don't you understand he loves when you beg him to make movies? Don't you understand he gets a charge out of that when you talking about it's not fair that he's not making the kind of movies, Hollywood is not producing the kind of movies we want to see? Don't you know he loves that? Because what that does is that makes him feel good because he knows he's in the seat of power to get you to gripe with him. Because he already knows you black men, are not going to stand up and form your own movie companies and make your own pictures and distribute your own. He already know you're not going to do that. You understand? Now, you black men can sit up here and tell me, oh, well, they ain't going to let us do that and this, that, and the third. And I'll say this to you who said, well, they ain't going to let you. They this big monster that's not going to let you, this hidden secret monster that's not going to let you. Nobody can stop wild horses from running free out of a gate. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you really want it together. No one can stop that. All I can say is he sits in control of everything. He governs everything. He keeps things in order. You might not like how he is not perfect with it. The white man is not perfect, but he sits in control. He's keeping order. You black men, you don't want to take control of anything. You don't want to take control of your own lives. You talking about picking up guns in a revolution. Hell, you black men can't even control your own lives. You can't even be responsible for your own lives. You think like little boys still. What does the future hold for you? Think about that. Stop thinking about the past and the Bible and the Quran, those old books. That's you trying to figure things out. That's just like running back into those books. That's just an scapegoat in a place trying to hide because you black men don't want to face the future. You don't want to be the ones people writing books about. What are you doing? Stop harping on the old. Stop harping on what other people did and reading, but trying to figure out their life story. What are you doing great today? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a beautiful tomorrow for me and my people. I'm going to say something to you right now for the people out there in the listening audience. There will be no future for us without connecting to the mind of God. I'm going to say it again. There will be no future for us without connecting to the mind of God. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about the three religions. I'm talking about making that ultimate connection to the mind of God. There will be no future for us. And I'll prove it to you. You look at the black man out here now. The black men out here are getting worse and worse and worse. They walking around like black zombies. The black woman, they ain't no different. The moral, the moral fiber is decaying. They're getting worse and worse. You know why that is? Because while people are making stronger connections, the elite are making a stronger mental connection with God. You understand? We're making a connection to nothing. They're giving us nothingness to worship. Whether it's in the music, whether it's in the religion, whether it's in more of his nonsense philosophies and mind games, they're giving us nothing while they're connecting to something higher. This thing is all about distractions, people. We are receiving no mental connection. And when you receive that mental connection, what is it supposed to do for our people? It's supposed to charge you. It's supposed to make you stronger. It's like actually plugging in to an outlet. I know, because I feel it coursing through me right now. That's how I can do these broadcasts and write these books and do these new Mind Power CDs that's coming out. Got 2 coming out. One on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Messenger of Higher Intelligence, which will be out on March 12th. And the other one is the Great Depression, Great Depression of the modern day black woman. Because we have to address our problems first, and I'm going to give deep mental knowledge or deep mental connections on that, advanced knowledge on that, great in-depth knowledge and intelligence on those 2 subjects that I'm going to share with my people. Because we need these things to move on. People say, oh, we tired of the talking, let's build. We tired of the talking. There's been so much talking, and we don't need to hear no more talk. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We need to hear the right talk. There's nothing wrong with talking. We need to hear the right talking. We need to hear the intelligence. We don't need to. I agree with you. We don't need to hear no more information. We need to hear intelligence. Because I didn't come here to give my people more information. I didn't come to download you with information and make you further into information junkies. I came to give my people intelligence, meaning things that you will be able to utilize, knowledge that you will be able to utilize to move further together. Intelligence is pure knowledge. Information is watered down form of intelligence. That's where you attach men's opinions on there, and it becomes weighty and things like that, and it becomes more dense. The intelligence becomes more dense instead of what intelligence is supposed to be, which is light. Actual light that you can absorb mentally. Because intelligence moves on light waves. It moves on mental current. And there's a such thing as mental current. Thoughts are transferred by a mental current. And it produces a light. And we absorb that light. And that light we absorb is intelligence, messages that are moving on that light. However, we're not absorbing anything because we're being loaded down with a whole lot of information that can't help us. That's why our people, like I said, we can't even think. We're so loaded down with information. We need intelligence, not information. We need to know. We don't need to believe anything anymore. We don't need to believe anybody's fairy tales and things like that, and be manipulated by people's fairy tales and beliefs so they can control us and take more money out of our pockets. No, building schools and things like that won't help our people. Amassing money or land is not going to help our people if the people's minds are not right. You have to get the people's minds right before you do anything, because you're going to have just what happened to Marcus Garvey. You had a whole bunch of people who was ready to get up out of here and go to Africa and things like that, but because the people's minds wasn't right and Marcus Garvey wasn't paying attention to that, he was only paying attention to the fact that, we all black, so we all going to come together based on, on the skin color and whatnot. It didn't happen. His own people turned on him. A lot of agents within his thing set him up because he didn't know the minds of the people that were around him. See, the good thing about this is we don't expect a lot of people. We don't want a lot of people. We don't want you believers. Contrary to what you think, we ain't out here trying to convert nobody. This is for the thinkers, the advanced people, the people who truly want, the sincere people who truly want to make that connection with God. Not you believers who want to come in here with your philosophies and your opinions and your ego. It's not for you. I don't do this because I'm looking for people to follow what I'm saying and follow me. I'm not into that. I'm not in it for this. I'll be honest with you, I'd rather not do this. I'd rather not. But I have no choice. This is my job. People think I'm joking and they think it's some kind of thing I'm on and whatever. I'm on this savior crusade of trying to be the savior to my people. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just here to do my job, share that intelligence, and move my people forward on the evolutionary mental scale. That's what we have to do. Because our people are far behind. And if we don't catch up, we're going to be eliminated, exterminated, because we're going to be deemed useless, like a lot of our people are right now. We are useless. What good do you black men serve in America? Like I asked you. The black man walking around with his pants hanging down and things. What good do you really serve? You're not doing nobody a favor by existing. You're not. You don't serve any more purpose to the power elite. The last real purpose you served to the elite in this country was as slaves. I'm going to be honest with you. That's how they see you. Free labor. So, because things work in a rotation here, a lot of you are going to head back that way through the prison system. I said that before. Yeah? That's what waits on our people who are not connecting to the mind of God, who can't see the bigger picture. Because some of our people are going to take heed and listen, and we're going to come together. We're going to make that connection. We don't care what nobody think, y'all crazy. What's this you talking about? What's this madness and whatnot? Whatever. What are you doing? What are you doing? We started our work just now. We're just starting our work. The evolution has to take place right now. The mental connection with God has to take place amongst our people because we're not connected. We're not. because we're just going in circles. We're not moving forward. I was trying to explain to some brothers about the difference between infinity and eternity. I said eternity moves in a straight line forward, like the universe. Solar systems move in circular form, like this planet we on. So we're moving in circles within religion. We're moving in infinite circles, meaning we're inside infinity, moving in circles, which is a stage of forever, but we're constantly moving in a circle, going nowhere, repeating the same things over and over again through rituals. God, the true and living God, don't work like that. True and living God moves forward and makes no return. So if we miss the bus, guess what, people? We losing our connection. We losing our connection. I'm not putting on a show for my people and whatnot. I'm not trying, like I said, it's not about money. It's not about money. I don't make money regardless. It's not about money. I'm not driven by money. I'm really sincere about trying to bring my people together on a whole level, a whole nother level toward that mental connection with God. Whatever's driving me to do this and bring my people together, I know what it is. It's that natural connection that has to be formed and made again. A man by the name of J. Edgar Hoover said, he said, be careful of a black messiah. You know, he said this he said we must prevent the rise of a black messiah that can electrify the masses of people. Right? So he used the word, it's funny, he didn't use the word leader, he didn't use the word role model, he used the word messiah, which is a Christ-like type of savior title. So obviously, for that man that said that, made that statement, he had to actually believe that somebody would rise, who would come amongst the people and would rise like that. Now, he said we have to be careful, so he was making a future reference. Because obviously he didn't feel that person was amongst the masses as of yet. So, as we pulling our people away from religion right now, right, and this man sits up and he acknowledges a black messiah, they acknowledge the power to be acknowledged that a son of man will return, the true Amun Re. Because in ancient Egypt, when they said when they got the whole title of Son of God, which they refer to as Jesus, which they got with the Greeks and the Romans when they created the character of Jesus Christ from the Roman god Jupiter and the Greek god Zeus, they put these two words together, these two mythological gods together. The Greco-Roman put the two mythological gods together to get Jesus and created that life and copied it from Egyptian god called Horus, an Egyptian character called Horus. Just look and Google the life of Horus in relation to the life of Jesus Christ. There was a plagiarized story. When they did that, and then also Google, like I said, Google Horus and his mother Aset or Isis, and you look at the virgin and the baby, and you look at Jesus and Mary. It was a straight copy from that story. This is not no secret knowledge. This is all online. You can find this. There's nothing secret about this, but what I'm trying to show you is that these people know that a natural connection is going to have to be made again, because the connection that they have, the power elite, the white elite have, is artificial. It's not a real connection because they're artificial. The human race is artificial. Anything that is in creation is artificial. Anything that you have to make is artificial. Natural things grow out of the earth, are implanted in the earth, grow from it, okay? Are natural manifestations. I said the black man and black women are natural manifestations of God, not artificial creations like the rest of the human race. We're not part of that creation. We are a totally different entity from everybody, from the hair on our heads, our natural hair, which is woolly, not straight like everybody else, woolly, and our features and our skin tone, which is not a color, it's an actual tone, it's an actual, what I wanted to say, it's an actual sheen or a coating. That's what I meant to say, a coating, a carbon coating, a carbon-based coating that's in our skin. This is not a color. A color would be what the East Indians have. Color is artificial. We do not have melanin. We have a carbon coating on our skin. That's why if you take the carbon coating out of our skin, like what Michael Jackson tried to do, you'll see that all he looks like was a pale black man. He didn't look like a white man. He looked like a pale black man. Because you can still, the coating you can't take out. Okay? You can't take the coating out. You can lighten the coating, but you can't take it out. You see black albinos, you could tell they're black albinos. You could tell the difference between a black albino and a white one. That is a natural coating that's in our skin, regardless. Coating that's encoded in our skin and in our genetics, which makes us different from everybody else. But the foolish ones of our people refuse to see that we are different. They want to try to be like everybody else. That was the fall of our mental connection, too, because we started to mix our seed with everybody, and our features got altered, and we started believing that this is how we really actually look when it's not how we look. This was an tampering with our genetics, which we were not supposed to do. We were not supposed to mix our seed with the human race. We were only supposed to stay within our own people, which was the almond beings. Those ones who were guarding the planet, the guardians, the watchers. That was supposed to be us, watching over the human race, from your East Indians down to your white man, because those are all the same people. I'm going to show you something. People sit up here, and I'm going to show you something. Like I said, if you notice, and I say this to the people who think I'm crazy right now, because I know it's a lot of people who might be listening. They'll be like, oh, he's crazy. What is he talking about? We're not human. What is this he's talking about, and this knowledge of MENTELLECT? Notice that the white man and the Hindus get along. They're the same people. They hang out together. They own hotels down south. Notice they never get bothered. Right? You never hear about any racial thing with the East Indians. You know why? Because the white man knows they're all the same. They got the same kind of hair. They are just a few shades. If you strip the color out of an East Indian, that's a white man. It's the same people. That is the people when they talk about climate control and people went to live in different environments and the color came out and whatnot, and you got your white race. That was your East Indians. They were the ones who suffered under climate control, and they started to change and the color left their skin and you produced a Caucasian. That came out of the East Indians. And to prove that fact, Adolf Hitler and his scientists went and they found out, if you look at the term Aryan, he traced the Aryan genetics back to the East Indians. So he was basically telling you that the Aryan genetics, which they were calling themselves Aryans, came from the East Indians. So his scientists acknowledged that the white race came out of the East Indians, who are your true Asiatic black men, not you Negroes. Okay? You didn't have straight hair originally. That's a recessive trait. Your hair was dominant, naturally, woolly, textured growing up. Straight hair falls down into your face. It's recessive. It's not mature. Your hair is supposed to naturally grow up in the air because you have heat that's going into this planet. And heat makes things what? Rise. It makes trees grow. So it is natural for your hair to grow up. It is not natural for your hair to fall down in front of your face like the East Indian, the white man, the Chinese, the Asian, the Native Americans. That's not natural. Why? Because these people are part of the artificial creation. That's why. You are the only natural people on the planet. But you black men and black women, y'all don't want to be that. You want to be with everybody else. You want to accept their religion. You want to be brothers with everybody, sister. And I'm not saying hate nobody. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But realize that you're different. You're not what they are. See, because as soon as you start accepting that you are, and you start ignoring who you are naturally, and you start accepting, saying that you start thinking you're just like them, what ends up happening is you start mixing your seed, and you start to sever your connection with God. And that's what happened. You fell down mentally. You fell down with the beast, like you're doing still today. Tattoos all over your body, mixing your seed, drugs, everything. You fell down with the beast. Now, you trapped on this level with him. You think like him. You act like him. A lot of our own people act like him. They negative like him. They demons like him. And hell, sometimes some of you white people act better than you Negroes. They act better than you. They act more civilized than you. They switching out their things with you. They switching their connection with you. They they got you praying when it was a time when they prayed to you. They looked to you for a connection with God. Now you looking to them. You understand that? Now you look to them. It was a time when they looked to you for knowledge. Now you looking to them. So something happened. Somebody switched places. It was a time when you was in charge of the world. Don't you think your connection with God was different from the time you think you got this with this so-called connection you think you got now? Don't you think the connection is different now? Logically, it has to be. Because if you was in charge thousands and thousands of years ago and now you're not in charge now, obviously something happened. The connection is not the same no more. Hello? And all the praying in the world is not going to do that. All the begging is not going to change that. Because you got people who refuse to wake up to the reality. Because we're going to keep lying to ourselves and keep saying that we in tune with something. A lot of people ain't going to hear my words, but it's still based factually. You're not in charge of anything. You don't control anything. You are not equipped at this point to run anything. You know why the white man's in charge? Because he doesn't get caught up in old things. It's another reason that puts him in charge. He doesn't get caught up in old books and tradition. He don't get caught up in that. He moves on. What do you black men do? You want to get caught up in the Quran. You want to get caught up in the Bible. You want to try to figure out what some people did 1,400 years ago, 5,000 years ago. That has nothing to do with you today. God don't work backwards. He works forward. They work forward. That's why they're in charge. Hello? That's why they're in charge. They don't care about the Quran. They don't care about the Bible. You care about the Quran. You care about the Bible. Are you in charge of anything? No. Like I said, the white man, you talking about the white man's the devil. I bet you any amount of money, if you put the reins of control in the black man's hands right now, he'd be begging the white man within 24 hours to giving him back control of the planet. Okay? That's what would happen. Because you people are not mentally fit to rule right now. Because you're not dealing with reality. You're still dealing with a handout mentality. You don't want to work for nothing. You don't want to sacrifice for nothing to be in charge of anything. And that's the truth. God deals with them directly, not you. They'll keep you believing that. They'll tell you, you read these stupid books about the secret societies and the Baphomets and all this other nonsense that they get you to believe in the boogeyman and whatnot. But riddle me this. Now, you say that these are supposed to be about secret societies books. Well, if these things are supposed to be so secret, why can you go out and buy a book on them? You don't think these people, all this money and power these people got, you don't think they can get rid of those books off the shelves if they didn't want you to really know that knowledge about what they worship? Yet you got all these books on that knowledge. You got all these books on that knowledge. Why? Because it's getting you to look that way instead of the real way in which this thing is going. You sitting up here reading all these books about the secret society and the Illuminati and the worship Satan and all this nonsense, and y'all sitting up here, yeah, they're the devil and this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah, and they laughing at y'all. They come out with them books left and right. You got these guys come out with these books left and right, and they laughing at you. They're like, yeah, they're the devil, huh? Yeah. I told you before, when the white man makes that symbol of the Cornutu sign, or the handheld symbol of the horns of the ram and all that other stuff, that was actually the crown of Amun. Look back in Egypt. That's the crown of Amun. That's the crown of the black man wore. That's the handheld sign they make. What they call a Cornutu sign, the devil hand symbol, as some sign of the devil with horns on his head. You Negroes still believe that fairy tale garbage? Some devil with horns on his head. Don't you understand that was a crown that a black man wore on his head that they're doing that too? And that the Vikings ended up taking that and copying it later when you see the Vikings wearing crowns with horns coming out of them. They got that from us. You black men need to do some research, think a little bit, look, use some logic, stop believing everything, because it's really ridiculous. You've allowed people to produce a childlike mentality in you. And it's really sad, very sad. I'm going to break away for a second to talk about the State of Mentel's poetry, spoken word event that's coming up in Brooklyn, New York. State of Mentel Black Evolutionary Mind Expressions will be taking place on Saturday, February 25th at 7 p.m. At in Brooklyn at the Restoration Center. It's going to be, what's that address? 1368 Fulton Street, between Brooklyn and New York Avenues. It's going to be an open mic event, spoken word. The winner of the spoken word event that night will receive $100 cash, of our money, State of Mentel money, because we're trying to push the arts and culture and bringing our people together and getting them to do something positive as opposed to doing things negative out here like what's taking place. So, we're back in the arts here within the State of Mentel. We're sponsoring this spoken word event. Black Evolutionary Mind Expressions. Hopefully we want to bring people together and teach and, eventually teach down the road. But definitely bring the minds together, let them express themselves. So that'll be, again, this Saturday, February 25th in Brooklyn, 1368 Fulton Street, between Brooklyn and New York Avenues, 3rd floor, Restoration Plaza. If you wish to call and find out more information, you can call 347-465-3602. Again, that's 347-465-3602. And also, like I said, we have the State of Mentel, those CDs coming out. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's, the CD on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Higher Intelligence. And we also have the Great Depression of the Modern Day Black Women. Those are just two of the many CDs and books that are coming under the Mind Power CD and Mind Power book and CD series. So I just got that out the way. Just a little plug for the State of Mentel. Anybody have any questions or comments? Feel free to call in. This is not just my broadcast. This is our broadcast. Any questions? I know we got some listeners on the call, and like I said, any questions you might have. Like I said, I don't want to dominate the whole broadcast. This is our broadcast. I'm teaching and I'm sharing, but I also, would like interaction. I know a lot of people listen to the show later on, and they give us props and whatnot. But it's cool if you just want to listen and you just want to take things in and gravitate and evolve mentally with it. Just take it in and take it seriously, because we're sharing here. This is about sharing. This is about telling the truth to my people. I'm not here to hurt my people. I'm not here to lie to my people. I have no motivation other than to teach my people the truth. That's it. That's my only motivation, to teach my people the truth and bring them together. Because if I'm saying all this and advocating this, then I have to show and prove and bring my people together. Everything starts with talking. We just started. So everything starts with talking. I want to take my people out of this revolving. When the white power structure, when the white elite talks to God, whose true name is Amen, not Jesus, not Allah, not Jehovah. Sorry to hurt you people in religion. That's not the true and living God. That is the God that those are the gods they manufacture for you. Those are the peon gods, the ones they manufacture for you to follow. Because like I said last week that God is only for the elect. God is only for the chosen few. Now, why did I say that? I'm going to repeat this again. God is not for the masses. God is for the chosen few, for the elect. Because God lays out a strict road, a straight and narrow road of intelligence and uprightness to follow. You really think that the people that walk this planet, or the majority of people that walk this planet, can follow that straight and narrow path? No. So what happens is the religious leaders, the ones who are trying to go on that path and know the difference, they create gods and religions for you to follow. And then these religions that they create for you to follow, there are margins in which you can do the wrong thing. You can be a homosexual, a lesbian, you can be a criminal, a thief, and all these things. and you could still be in tune with God. You could still be one with God. You could still have a God in your religion, be it Christianity, Islam, Judaism, that you can pray to and make things right, and still go back out and do the same things over again, which they call sinning. Nobody, the majority of people are not going to walk that straight and narrow path. That is the true and living God. Though the path, the one who lays out the path of this straight and narrow. Now I'm attempting to walk that path myself. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not at all. But I'm attempting to walk that path right now by telling my people the truth. And I'm hated for it because my people love religion. They love a God that's going to comfort them. They love a God that's going to talk nice to them. They love a God that's going to forgive them for all their sins and their trespasses, and they can keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's the God they want, not the God that holds you accountable, not the God that makes you walk a straight and narrow path. Contrary to what you think, these people that control this planet are decent people. They don't indulge in this stuff that they give you to indulge in. Like I said last week, they're decent people. I'm talking about the real, not the white, rich, millionaire people you see, the degenerates. I'm talking about the billionaires and the people like your Rockefeller. These are decent people. Do you ever watch a documentary on John D. Rockefeller? You know what I'm saying? This man was very disciplined, and I'm just on his life and how he made his $1 billion and whatnot. These people are very disciplined people. Very disciplined people who are trying to walk that straight and narrow path. They're not into a lot of the stuff that the masses of people are into. That's why they're in charge. Another reason why they're in charge, because they're walking that straight and narrow path, that line. They're not into the religion because they know it's nonsense. They know it's BS. Hell, they give it to you. They give it to you to consume. The peons. So I'm trying to walk that straight and narrow path like them, to the true and living God. It ain't got nothing to do with white and black and whatnot. We're supposed to naturally be doing it first and foremost, yes. We did it as the Egyptians, the Nubians, as the Sumerians, and all of that. But now we're not doing it as Americans or whatever we call ourselves today. We're not doing that. We following the low mental framework of America through these religions. We're not doing it. We sloppy with our diets. We sloppy with our relationships. We're not walking that straight and narrow path as a people. We're not trying to be better. We're trying to get by. Get prayed up so we can keep doing the same thing over and over again, a rotation. Following rituals, a.k.a. spirituals, special rituals that we think is going to connect us to God, when it's all about walking on that straight and narrow path, not doing what everybody else is doing. The true and living God is not for everybody. They said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made a statement. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard a brother by the name of Eric Muhammad said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said his true followers at the end of all this are going to be able to fit in a cab. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just quoting him. It's funny he said that because he said his true followers are going to be able to fit in a taxi cab. Now, that's something when you have like a big nation you in charge of, but he says true followers are going to be able to fit inside of a taxi cab. Because what he was saying by that was that when you're trying to get people to do the right thing, you're going to get few people to do the right thing. But if you relax the rules, if you take away the discipline, if you let people do certain things they want to do, give them their creature comforts and whatnot, and make God palatable for the people instead of giving them God raw and uncut, then they'll come to it. They'll come to you. They'll come near it because it's the kind of gentler God. It's not the true God. It's not the real God, the raw and uncut God. They want the sugared down, watered version of God. That's what produces religions and millions and thousands and thousands and thousands of followers and millions of followers. Somebody told me, I told you last week, they said Islam is the fastest growing religion, Christianity. I said, yeah, of course. Look at the people that follow it. I'm not saying everybody's messed up in Islam or Christianity. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying, but whenever you see people following religions like that in masses, it's watered down. Because you can't get that many people to agree on something. That means you have to subtract certain things and stretch it out, just like drugs. If you give people drugs in pure form, it'll kill them, just like with the truth. You give our people the truth in pure form, it's either going to make them stronger and make them powerful, it's going to kill them. It's going to kill their spirit. It's going to kill their mind. I mean to say, not their spirit, but their mind. It's going to blow their mind. So what do? You water it down. You give them a little bit of God here and you make it palatable. You don't give them that uncut to the gut about what God truly is. You don't do shows or broadcasts like this where you tell them truthfully and factually who really has the connection to God, because this is blowing a lot of our people's minds. This is going to blow a lot of our people's minds, because you swore up and down the white man was the devil and he was worshiping the devil and he doing sacrifices and Baphomet and all that. You swore up and down. And he was okay with letting you believe that till now. He was okay with letting you believe that because it just kept you away from wondering what he was doing, because it's easy when you call him the devil and you're scared of him and things like that. So now you ain't trying to connect with nothing higher yourself. You think they got the end-all be-all. You scared. You understand? It was done to scare you purposely, and it worked. It worked. God is for the powerful, the people who want to step up in the seat of power, the people who want to control their own lives as a collective. God does not deal with individuals. God deals with groups, collective. That's another reason why God is dealing with the white power structure, because they work as a group. They understand structure. Our people don't. We want to be in different groups. We want to have different opinions, different beliefs, and all. It don't mean nothing. In this country, they don't have different opinions and beliefs. They believe in God, who is really Amen. They never tell you who God is. They say God as a title, but they never tell you who the God is. God is just a title. They believe in an American flag. This is a Judeo-Christian country, which they use those religions to govern the people with, but not that the power elite actually follow them, or the Freemasons follow them, the higher-ups. They tell the peons, yeah, that's what, for y'all, that's one of our foundation, but we don't really follow that. You understand? But this is what they do. They acknowledge Amen as God, and they are in connection with Amen, the true and living God. Fact. Accept it. Or don't accept it. I could care less, but it's the truth. So, we come to the end of our show. Like I said, I should have made this a 3-hour show, and I could tell a lot more. Maybe I'll go into this another time. But any questions, comments, and things like that, feel free to call them in, because like I said, we're in the last 8 minutes of our broadcast. And like I said, if we don't have any more questions, we're going to close it out soon. I'll leave you with this, and that is strengthen your mental connection. Don't just throw out what I said and be like, oh, it's not because it's not what I believe, and it's not personally what I believe, and that's not what I was taught, and I don't want to hear it. That's the talk and the jabber of an ignorant person, because it's not what you were taught. I'm just going to discount it. This ain't for you. I said that the majority of this knowledge I'm teaching, which is known as MENTELLECT, when the state of mental, the true and living, the knowledge of the elect, of the people of the true and living God, Amen. It's not for you. It's not for the majority of our people. It's only for the elect. Read your book of Revelation, because the book of Revelation is not really part of the Bible. It was actually added on. It's a book of prophecy and future events, or which we call future intelligence, which you people in religion call prophecy. But that's a book of future intelligence, meaning things to come, higher intelligence to come. And that's what we're delivering in the state of Mentel. Future intelligence or higher intelligence to come. That's why a lot of people are having trouble with what I'm teaching, because it's not written down in the white man's books. Not all of it. Bits and pieces here and there you can refer certain things to, but majority of it, 85 to 90% of it, you're not going to find in the white man's books. It's based in logic. And for a lot of our people who are not connected mentally to God, you're not going to get it. It's because, like I said, it deals with intelligence. A lot of our people are just not in tune. A lot of our people are just not intelligent any longer. A lot of them are just like robots. If they can't read it out of a book, or they ain't heard somebody say it, or they can't repeat it, then they're lost. And that's a fact. And I've been getting this. I've been unfortunately seeing this with certain people, on Facebook, and I'm not even going to go into it, but it's unfortunate. They can't think. They can't think. And we trying to. These are the type of people, we try to teach and whatnot, and we trying to share knowledge with them, but they're not willing to accept anything that's beyond what they were taught, and that's the problem with our people in religion. Their minds closed in religion around belief. And that's not what we're promoting within the state of Mentel. We came to bring a new knowledge, the true and living knowledge of God, to our people. And we're going to go on and we're going to teach, and we're going to be doing the Mind Power conferences and things like that. And we're going to teach on this and, the evolution of the mind and connection with God and breaking down the barriers and moving forward and going beyond and thinking beyond belief. We're going to be doing all that within the state of Mentel. We are mentalists. MENTELLIST. We are the state of Mentel. We have a flag that's based on future intelligence, the supreme intellectual flag. We acknowledge that the true and living God is the supreme intellectual being, Amen. He is the same Amen that you seal your prayers off in religion, whether you're referring to him as Amin in Islam, Amun in ancient Egypt, Amen in Christianity, Judaism. It doesn't matter. It's the same true and living God. That is the true name and title of God. And in the name of the true and living God, I'm about to close out this broadcast. Look for us next week, and we'll post the topic up of what we'll be talking about. It'll be something good. I might do a part 2 to this, but like I said, I would like some interaction on this, for the believers out there, because we like interaction with the believers, somewhat. We know a lot of the believers are not thinkers. We know that they're just parrots and they're just good at repeating stuff, but we open the door for you, because like I said, I'm not the person that's going to tear people down and things like that. But listen, take it in, think about what was said. Don't go off at the handle like, because it's not what I heard before and it's not what don't be a robot. Be a thinker. That's another reason why the white man is, he thinks. He is not reactionary. He'll sit and listen to everything and research and look up everything, and he'll sit in classes and learn. He don't care who teaching. He'll learn because he wants to learn more and build himself. The black man, he wraps himself around beliefs, and especially if it's coming from another black man, the ego come out. And I told you that a lot of the black men suffer from that syndrome, or who this nigga think he is syndrome. If it's another black man, that's what they suffer from. Especially if it's one around their own age. That's the Willie Lynch in our people. It comes out all the time. I've been experiencing that, trust me, amongst our people. And it's funny because I'm always open to listen to everybody. I listen to everybody, but it has to make sense. If it don't make sense, if I ask you questions you can't answer it, then, come on. I'm not just going to accept it because you said it. Your word don't mean it's the truth. Just because you say something don't mean it's the truth. It just means that you just made a statement. Anyway, we're closing out. This has been State of Mentel Radio. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares. Look for us next week, Monday, at 9 p.m. as usual. And, we're out.